Hello, good morning, and welcome to the channel. And when I say morning, I mean morning. It is an early one, about 7 o'clock here. I'm about to fly to Florida for Cletus's event, so I'm making this vlog beforehand, and I feel like that's dedication. Making vlogs before it's even daylight out. Not that 7 is that early, but we're gonna talk about how it feels to drive the 570S for the first time. So about the 570S, well, not surprisingly, the first thing that I do is compare it to my Z06. Not that these cars really should be directly compared, but when you have both, that's just kind of what you naturally do. Even though really both of them are designed to do essentially the same thing. They're both supposed to go around a track really fast, go in a straight line really fast, and be great to drive. With that being said, these cars could not be any different in the way they accomplish that task. The Z06 is, those people standing on the side of the road there, I barely even saw them. The Z06 is really loud in your face all the time. When you accelerate in that car, you really feel it. It's like a whole production, and you hear it. It's a very visceral experience. The 570S, however, it's kind of like you're just driving and you look down, all of a sudden you're at 130 miles an hour. So in this car, you really could say, officer, I had no idea I was going that fast. Power delivery has a lot to do with that, of course. The Z06 revs to about 6,500, makes all of its power from 3,000 to that basically 6,000 number. The McLaren revs to 8,500, doesn't really make any power until about 4,500. So, the McLaren is just starting to really make its power when the Z06 is kind of running out of steam. So, yeah, really, just really cool, actually, how different they are when it comes to just the overall feeling when you drive. The McLaren is much more refined, very smooth, and that's one thing that really surprised me. There's a lot that has surprised me in the 2 days I've been driving this car. I'm just really kind of shocked at really the feel of the McLaren. Totally not what I was expecting, to be honest. When I first drove it for the first little drive around the block there, got to turn off my engine stop-start button. That's one thing I don't like about this car. It does have the automatic stop-start of the engine when you're at a red light, so the car shut down, which I didn't even know it had, and I forgot they told me. I'm at McLaren Philadelphia, and I came to a stoplight and it turned off. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Who would want that in a supercar? So there is a button, though. You just hit it every time you get in the car, and that turns it off. Anyway, what the hell was I talking about? I think I was talking about when I did the first little drive with my mom just around the block. I was so nervous, and I was like, I'm never going to drive this car. I'm so overwhelmed and nervous about this vehicle. Not only just, it's kind of intimidating when you go from a regular car to this, but not only because it's intimidating, but because it's so valuable. I was like, that's it. I'm never going to drive it. I understand now why some people don't drive their supercars, and now I'm going to be that guy that I never wanted to be. Well, very quickly, I've now gotten used to the car, and it's actually scary just how easy it is to get into this car and to get used to it, because you do forget how much it's worth. And when you're not a super rich guy like myself, not even a rich guy by any measure of the word, I mean, this car is financed, that's for sure. That can be a little bit dangerous. You want that fear a little bit because it keeps you reined in when you're out on the road. And I've already found myself getting so comfortable that I just fly around corners and have fun on my favorite back roads, and it's like I might as well be driving a $500 Mazda Miata, because that's how it feels. But that is amazing, to McLaren's credit, just how you instantly feel like you're a part of this car. It's a very driver's-oriented car, definitely a driver's car to the utmost degree. Everything from the seating feel to the windshield being so sloped down and the hood being so small. I mean, you feel like you're right on the road when you look out over the front. Which again is something that I wasn't really used to in the Z06. With a Corvette being front-engined, of course you have a lot of real estate in front of you. The McLaren, like I said, you do pretty much sit, you're like 3 feet from the front of the car, and that's not an exaggeration. That's about right. Something else that surprised me is just how much noise this McLaren makes. Now, I was thinking, it's an English car, it's going to be very quiet, reserved, very proper, not shouting and screaming all the time, but it does make quite a bit of noise. And the noise that it makes is great too. Not anywhere similar to the Z06 as far as the kind of noise, but really great in its own way. Of course, I'm a guy who really likes loud cars. My Z06 is straight pipe, no cats, all that good stuff. And eventually this car will be too. Actually, not eventually, pretty soon. It's really not going to be far away. You already knew that was coming. But for now, I am pretty happy with it. Oh my God. It's quick too. This car is really, really quick. Going from a almost 700 wheel horsepower Z06, I was not thinking this car would surprise me, but again, with that power delivery and how light and nimble the car is, it actually feels quicker. Maybe not faster in a straight line, although it's close there too, but it definitely feels quicker than the Corvette. Another interesting thing is the difference in the transmissions. Now, I have the 8-speed auto in my Corvette, and I hate to keep comparing it to the Vet, but that's just what I'm used to. So I have the 8-speed auto, and because that is a conventional automatic with a torque converter, there are times when you don't hear that car shift, when you don't feel that car shift, when you do hit a paddle in that car and you want it to be responsive. It's not like this, it's instant. I'm already in gear. Like, by the time the paddle is released, it's in gear already. It's fucking crazy how quick it is. The Corvette, you hit it and it wouldn't shift until like now. Now, of course, it's not that bad, but there's a noticeable delay. Like, you can literally count. You can hit the paddle, 1001, then it'll shift. It's that slow sometimes. So going to this, you know, I love the responsiveness, but also just the feel. You know, because this is an automated manual, even if it is a dual clutch, you can feel when this car shifts. When you're in sport mode, we're in normal mode now, so everything's kind of relaxed and you can still feel it. But when you're in sport mode or track mode especially, every shift you can really feel in the back of your seat, which I like. I don't want to say it's harsh in any way. It's not like a Gallardo E-Gear or something like that. It's harsh enough to, or I shouldn't even say harsh enough, it's enough to make you notice, but not enough to be uncomfortable. And again, I think it's fucking perfect. The cool thing about the paddles though is I can pull it towards me to downshift, or I can push up with either side to upshift. So I can show you what the paddles are like here in a second. I mean, that's how fast this car gains speed. It's like nothing I've ever experienced. I'll do a real POV at some point here on the channel very soon. That's just me holding the camera in front of me, which kind of sucks. And I want to try to convey the feeling of driving the car as best I can. In this video, I really try to stick to some of the things that surprised me about this car coming from a Corvette. You know, you guys have seen videos on the 570S before. It's been out for a while, but I wanted to, you know, let you know how it feels different than you might expect if you were to get in one and drive it, if you're maybe looking to buy one. And it's definitely a fantastic car. From the 150 miles I've put on it so far, and that's not a joke, I'll show you. 156 miles in 2 days, so I'm definitely driving this car, so you know I love it. Anyway, point being, it's fucking amazing in every sense of the word. I mean, my first supercar, I think, is the perfect one for me. The car is like the right size. And, you know, one last thing that I was not expecting was, I'm a guy who's used to driving a Corvette with a crazy wrap on it that does get quite a bit of attention. And driving this, I really didn't think it would be that much different. Maybe because I just have friends. You know, my friend Mark has a 570S, that green one. Troy has a McLaren. So I'm a little bit more familiar. I'm used to seeing them. So I didn't think it would get the attention that it does. But let me tell you, even the baby McLaren, even if it is the baby entry-level sports McLaren, it gets a hell of a lot of attention. When I did go to Chipotle with it, there was a crowd of about 20 people around it at all times. People were coming into the store, didn't even want to eat there. They were just coming in to ask who owns the car. And of course, you know, the doors go up, it's a little bit extra, which I love. But, you know, if you're hoping to get the entry-level McLaren thinking that, oh, this is a little bit more understated, people won't notice, yeah, they're gonna notice. And folks, with all of that being said, I hope that you enjoyed this upload, and I hope that you are excited about the 570S. I know I am. I can't wait to really dive into this car and get some miles on it and really learn to live with it. So if you did enjoy, give it a big thumbs up. If you are stopping in for the first time, please subscribe. Take care, have a great day. And of course, if you are new to the channel, this is the 570 in Volcano Orange. Had to point that out because the color is my favorite part, as you guys know. I think it's amazing, and you can't really get a good sense of it here in the garage, but it's fire. Literally fire, Volcano Orange. And this is the Z06 in question that I kept comparing this car to in the video. This is a, I would say, lightly modified Z06. We got intake, pulley, upper pulley, exhaust, and meth injection. So 4 mods, and it puts down about 670 wheel horsepower, 720 pound-feet of torque. Basically a drag car, as you can tell. This is going to be my track car. This will be more of a straight line car. But, you know, not that I still don't love this thing. And again, some people in the comments were like, oh, is the McLaren going to replace the Z06? Definitely not. Still tons of content with this car. I mean, we're just getting fucking started with this car, like I just said. A ton of videos to come on the old car and a ton of videos to come on the new car. We got the Brit and the American. We'll end the video with the McLaren light show. Again, just to be a little bit more extra.